New Apple Watch bands, of course. Spring, summer, fall. New Apple Watch Series 8, new Apple Watch SE, and new, like really totally new, Apple Watch Extreme. But which one is going to be the flat one? I'm Rene Ritchie. YouTube says 70% of you watching still haven't subscribed to the channel. So hit that button and bell and we can build the best community in tech together. The watch is absolutely Apple's most fashion-forward product. Sure, you can get an Hermes case for your iPhone if you really truly want to, but you're going to have to dig for it. With watch, all of that is front and center. So at the very least, very least, we can expect a bevy of new Apple Watch bands throughout 2022. New spring colors around March or April event time, whether there's an actual event or not. A new Pride band in the summer around WWDC, whether it's in person or still not. And then new fall colors and maybe new band styles to go along with the new fall hardware. Hopefully back in September and not delayed again until October. But the 2020s, just gonna 2020 too. Now, as to that hardware, there's been a new series of Apple Watch announced pretty much every year on the year since the Series 2. Some of them have had big internal updates, like going dual core, 64-bit, or LTE. Others, big new designs, like the full screen Series 4, or small new designs like last year's slightly bigger Series 7. There haven't been too many rumors about Series 8 yet, but my guess is it's going to focus on the internals again. The A13-based cores introduced with the S6 system and package are still plenty fast enough for a wearable, but the silicon nerd in me would love to see something like A14-based cores in an S8, just to keep some of the extra headroom for the future of watchOS and apps. And yes, fully independent LTE. I mean, everything is 5G these days. But I'm just not sure Qualcomm's modems are anywhere nearly efficient enough for the Apple Watch yet, and Apple's custom modems are probably still a couple or few years out. More new health sensors remain the holy grail here, of course. Everything from blood pressure to blood sugar and more, just all the sensors. But those are proving really hard to bring to market. The tech has been coming, but just never quite arriving, going on half a decade now, even though Apple keeps buying companies that swear they're almost there, only to stay exactly there, at the almost point, over and over again, which is super frustrating, beyond frustrating for everyone involved. And that's still before we even get into which and whether those technologies will be regulated for health, like the ECG app, or marketed for simple metrics like blood oxygen. Now, there are way stronger rumors around the new Apple Watch SE and really new Apple Watch Extreme, both kind of orbiting around a flat edge design that many just wrongly assumed was meant for last year's Apple Watch Series 7, including a bunch of legit cockamamie stories and theories around Apple changing the design at the last minute, which does not happen. I mean, sometimes things get delayed, and sometimes more conservative prototypes win out over more audacious ones, but that's way earlier in the production cycle. And once they're locked and loaded, they're locked and loaded. It's like a 2 to 3 year process. The delays we got last year were 100% delays on the exact Apple Watch Series 7 design that Apple ended up shipping. And a lot of that is because these reports often, almost always, arrive with zero context. So everyone just tries to make their best guesses based on their experience, and it's easier to think a last-minute change was made than an engineering sample got out where the prototyper was just using an old container as a quick test for a new project, or vice versa, and then, hot damn. But I digress. So where does that leave that flat edge design that everybody was talking about? Well, as a different Apple Watch entirely, one that was pushed from 2021 to 2022. And some think, John Gruber among them, that it'll be marketed as the next Apple Watch SE, that Apple likes to visually distinguish their flagship designs from their entry-level models. And they usually do that by keeping older versions of those designs around, like the iPhone SE or 9th generation iPad, home button, both of them. But the as of last year older watch design doesn't really look that different from the latest and greatest current one. And for something as fashionable and wearable as a watch, the flat sides is an objectively less premium looking design. So the thinking is it could be for the next SE. Now, others, including Jon Prosser, think the flat design is the long-rumored Apple Watch Extreme, the one that was rumored to have been pushed from 2021 to 2022, a more rugged, larger version of the Apple Watch meant to compete with Garmin. And because recent iPhones increased their toughness not just with ceramic shield, but because of the flatter design that better protected against impact, that a flatter watch design would do exactly the same thing for more extreme athletes and activities. And yeah, for people who care about ruggedness, being chunkier is not a bug. It is absolutely a feature. And I mean, come on, seriously, nobody expects an Apple Watch Extreme to look like an OtterBox, right? They expect it to look like the sandblasted down to its essential metal limits, which could be exactly that flat-sided design. Either way, anyway, it'll be fascinating to see what Apple decides to include in a new Apple Watch SE, because right now it lacks the always-on display, ECG, blood oxygen, and other pricier features, just like the iPhone SE and the iPad. Might as well call it SE, and come to think of it, why don't they? Both of those entry-level devices don't include the better and fuller screen displays and camera systems. So whether flat or not, I think the focus on a new Apple Watch SE will be on an updated processor to extend watchOS and app headroom, and probably not much else. But hey, a nerd can dream. As for the Apple Watch Extreme, or whatever Apple ends up calling the bigger, more rugged version of the watch, that I see being more of an Apple Watch Max, with every bell and whistle Apple has available, imaginable, especially on the communications, health, and fitness tech side, but with way, way better durability in lieu of a fancier camera system. Maybe even with a whole new set of bands dedicated for those extreme activities, along with whatever watchOS 9 has coming our way this summer. And if you ever want to get involved with that, with the future of watchOS or any of Apple's software, the absolute best place to get started is with today's sponsor, Brilliant. They've got everything on algorithms, machine learning, and neural networks, so you can be part of the next generation of watches, health technologies, apps, way more. But also math, quantum mechanics, game theory, cryptocurrency, just all the courses. They've even got this brand new, totally revamped logic course that helps open your mind so you can look at problems in a whole new way, then go hands-on and solve them yourself, including what to do with flat Apple Watch designs that hit the market a year early. And with the holiday season in full swing and New Year on its way, you can give the gift of Brilliant to any of the more ambitious learners in your life, including and especially yourself. And right now, because you're watching this video, the first 200 of you who click on the link in the description or go to brilliant.org/ReneRitchie will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. Just click on the button on the screen or go to brilliant.org/ReneRitchie. Clicking on that button really, really helps out the channel, and so does hitting up the playlist above for more. Just everything Apple has coming our way in 2022. So hit up that playlist, and I'll see you in the next video.